If you're wanting to generate more pipeline, if you're looking to scale revenues for your SaaS business, chances are you're now getting really serious about investing in marketing. Now, here's the thing with SaaS marketing. SaaS marketing and marketing in general is a very, very broad body of knowledge and broad body of practice. There's brand marketing, content marketing, demand generation, community marketing, customer marketing, and more. And when you are at a large scale company, you can have hundreds of people actually doing all this work. But if you're in the early stages, then you have to be very, very thoughtful about what are the essentials that you really invest in, because you cannot do it all. You have to make certain bets. Based on all of my experience in being in SaaS and actually scaling SaaS companies and being in the MarTech category, in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know to pick the absolute most important aspects of SaaS marketing so that you can accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS business faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you are new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies and tactics on how to actually accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so that you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. If you are already part of this community, my people, welcome back. I really want to thank you. We just hit 1 million views on this channel. We just hit 28,000 subscribers. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart and from my entire team, thank you for being with us, and thank you for giving us the privilege to support you and to serve you in this way. It's been an incredible journey, and we have so much more planned for you. Now, back to business. I remember when I was SVP of strategy at Marketo. They had just acquired my company, ToutApp. And Marketo is a marketing automation company, and so obviously we took marketing very seriously. I remember seeing the overall org chart for the marketing team alone, and it was nearly 100 people. And they were about 450 million ARR, so rightfully so, but it was huge. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many people doing marketing. And it was eye-opening for me because I was like, wow, there's people that are going so deep into product marketing, into pricing, into SEO, into demand generation, customer marketing, and the list went on. I contrasted that to ToutApp when we were building out our mini brand, when we were driving to scale revenues. We were a small crack team of badasses running marketing, and we were actually doing so much above our weight grade. It made me realize just how important it is for founders to pick the right essentials of marketing instead of getting overwhelmed on trying to do everything and being neither here nor there. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 key pillars of SaaS marketing, the 3 principles you absolutely need to know so that when you're in the early stages and you're starting to invest in marketing, you don't get overwhelmed and you prioritize the right aspects of marketing to drive growth so that you can scale, so that you can raise that next round or get to profitability, and so that you earn the right to one day have a 100-person marketing team doing all of it perfectly. So if you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Let's go to principle number 1. So principle number 1, the most important aspect of marketing that applies to SaaS today, no matter what anyone else tells you, that this is the most valuable thing that has worked for me for nearly 15 years, continues to be the workhorse, is direct response. And a lot of people don't quite understand what direct response is or think it's old school, but direct response marketing is essentially where you are signing people up and they're becoming leads. They're going into a mailing list. So whether it's through ads or you're posting on LinkedIn or on Twitter, you're providing value, and then you're saying, hey, by the way, if you want more, sign up for our mailing list or sign up for this lead magnet. This is by far the best way to actually drive demand and actually build momentum in your marketing. And actually focusing on this, getting the right lead magnet in place, building out that mailing list is super, super important. And the reason for this is there's a stat where someone has to look at your brand at least 7 times for them to actually take action and think about buying. If you are just posting and you're doing brand marketing, or maybe you're doing a little bit of advertising and you're saying, come join the trial, unless they see it 7 times, unless they hear from you at least 7 times from different angles, it's never gonna happen, which is why getting direct response where people actually take a response and whatever they're seeing in terms of your marketing, getting on your mailing list so that you're actually nurturing them and you're getting back to them at least 7 times and providing value, that is the best way to actually do marketing in SaaS today. And so that's principle number 1. And the power in this is whether you are product-led or sales-led, it doesn't matter. When you are nurturing the people that become leads, you can either direct them into the product and provide value, or you can direct them into sales and provide value. Either way, it's super valuable in actually getting that attention and nurturing them, getting those 7 touches, and getting people to pay attention in a very, very crowded market. And so direct response still continues to be the best way. And I've seen a lot of people make mistake where they just go into brand. Like, oh, let me just post and give a lot of value. Yes, it will give you a lot of value, but you will not be able to get to those 7 touches. So direct response coupled with getting your brand out there is super powerful. So you want to make sure you stay grounded in direct response marketing. So that's pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is what I call content marketing. Well, everyone calls it content marketing, but I really think of it as education marketing. And I believe that especially in the early stages, there's going to be competitors. It's a noisy world out there. And so you are likely, no matter how much you've raised or how much capital you have, you are likely not going to be able to outspend the competition, whether it's a competing product or just mindshare. Your buyers are being sold to by multiple companies for multiple problems. So you will not be able to outspend them. That is a default truth in being in an early stage. And so I believe that if you want to compete and get their mindshare, you need to rise above with a differentiated message and you need to out-teach the competition. And so I'm a big believer in putting educational content out there, whether it's teaching them about the problem you're solving, the macro trends that are there, the impending doom that's happening, actually like how others are actually using your product to get success and using that as a form of education marketing. All of these can become pieces of content where you educate your buyers. And posting that on LinkedIn, posting that on Twitter, posting that into communities, building your own community where you can post that and share that, starting a YouTube channel even. All of that is a form of education marketing and content marketing. And the best piece of this is when you start doing this in the right way, instead of just saying, here's a bunch of educational content, you can actually say, oh, by the way, if you want more, then sign up for our mailing list. And then we'll send you more info. And so this actually builds on top of each other where you can actually use the content and the education you're providing to actually drive them to generate leads, which you can then nurture them on and eventually get it into your product or into your sales team, whichever makes sense for your motion in the market that you're serving. So that's principle number 2. There's so many different ways to get growth, so many different ways to do marketing. And when you have the 100-person team, you will likely do all of them because all of them matter. But if you're starting out and you're starting to say, cool, let's invest in marketing, let's pick the right pieces. First one is direct response, generate the leads, nurture them, get to those 7 touches. Second one is put content out there and use the content to generate leads, and they can build off of each other and compound. Now, I do have a third one, but before I go to number 3, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Are you starting to see the power in actually focusing on these key essential components in your SaaS marketing so that you don't get overwhelmed and you don't end up being neither here nor there by splitting your attention on 500 things that may not yield results, but focusing on the tried and true pieces to really punch above your weight grade? If you start to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? Also, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. It's awesome. Also, if you're in the stages of figuring out how to drive growth for your SaaS business, I have a completely free 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. You don't have to go anywhere right now. I'll link to it below and I'll tell you more about it at the end of this episode. But let's go to principle number 3. Principle number 3, this is one of the things where I wish more people use this more often. So if you're doing content, you're putting it out there, and then you're doing direct response where you're generating those leads, and then you're nurturing them and getting them into sales or your product or more education and value, right? Eventually they are going to buy. That's what we're looking to do. And so the content drives the leads drives the revenues. And this is a piece where people don't take advantage of this, but when you actually get intentional about it, it's even in the early stages and in the late stages, it is incredibly powerful. And principle number 3 is referral marketing. Referral marketing is basically taking all your happy customers and programmatically going to them and saying, hey, if you like our product, if you like what we're doing, can you please take this educational content and share it with someone that's a peer of yours or someone that would like our product as well? Because the thing is, while you're going out there and putting out your content under your brand or under your own name, while you're trying to generate leads, there's a certain amount of trust that's missing. So you're gonna have to get those 7 touches. You're gonna have to do a lot of iterations to really get people to take notice. But if a person already using your product takes your content, educational content, and shares it with a peer in the industry, someone that already trusts them and say, hey, you gotta check this out. This is really powerful. These guys are really thinking about this problem differently. Then all of a sudden, this is going to move 10 times faster. And so this referral marketing piece will drive more traffic to your content, that will drive more leads, and that these buyers will buy more. And that's the third piece that I don't see enough companies using, but when they do, it's so powerful. So to summarize, if you're in the early stages, you're investing in marketing, it's overwhelming, you don't have a 100-person team, nor should you at the early stages, you just can't justify that spend even if you have the money. What you should focus on, principle number 1 is direct response. Generate those leads, nurture them. Number 2 is put out educational content, out teach the competition. And number 3, as you are starting to generate customers, take their success stories, mobilize them, give them the education content and get them to share it on your behalf so that they can educate the market, build that trust faster for you and get you more leads and more customers. And you follow these 3 things in the early stages, what I did at Tout App. This is what so many companies that I advise and coach do. It is incredible in mobilizing your growth. And now you know exactly the 3 pieces to focus on. What you may not know is how all these pieces come together, or what are the other ways you can drive growth for your SaaS business. This is why I created my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free. Just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Getunstoppable.com/strategy. You go there, just fill out your email, and boom, you'll get access to it right away. It is an incredibly powerful guide and highlights the 5 key ways you can drive growth for your SaaS business to accelerate your path to the next stage of growth. Also, if you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. If you have a fellow founder, a fellow team member, a practitioner, if you're part of a SaaS founder community, if they would get value, please share this video with them. This is why we create these videos, and this is why we want to serve the community, so I can just share in the journey of the things that I learned and the mistakes I made and the things I broke through so that you don't have the same issues. This is why we do it. And also, I drop an episode like this every single Sunday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. And also don't forget, go to getunstoppable.com/strategy for that 5-point guide. We'll go much more into detail on exactly how to drive growth for your SaaS business. And as a meta item, if you're still here, right, you're probably thinking, wow, this guy actually practices what he preaches. You're right. I am all about out-teaching anyone else in the market. I'm all about sharing everything that I've learned. So I do the content, I run this channel. And at the end of the videos, I say, hey, if you want more, completely free, go get my 5-point guide, where you become a lead, and we'll give you even more educational content. We have over 200 episodes, so we'll share some of those with you. We'll link to the most important ones. We'll keep giving you value. And then down the line, if you want to work together, then you'll be able to do that. And of course, all of our clients that we work with, we ask them like, hey, do you have other founders that would get value from the program? And they refer us all the time. So I practice what I preach. So maybe you're seeing the meta, you're stayed all the way till the end, so I thought I'd include that in there. Anyway, go and grab a copy of that guide, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.